Hello friends. In this today's lecture of traffic engineering and management, we are going to see some of the facilities of pedestrians and some of the basic elements of bicyclists. So like we are going to see some of the methods that are being employed by researchers to collect the data of the pedestrians. So So let us start with the drawbacks of the quantitative pedestrian level of service. So we have discussed some of the salient features of the pedestrian level of service in our previous lectures. So I've already said that the pedestrian level of service is quite similar to the vehicular LOS level of service. Now, dear friends, we see that whenever we are comparing the pedestrian level of service and vehicular level of service, there are certain drawbacks. See, when we say about vehicular level of service, we take care of the flow, density, and the speeds. And we say that the pedestrian level of service are also taking care of the same particular elements. But there are other features also which affects as a pedestrian. For example, when you are moving on your own vehicle, the only factor that matters is that you want to reach from point A to point B in less possible time. But it may not matter whether the what to say environment or whether the scenic beauty of the place is good or bad. Okay, but when you are actually moving on foot, if the environment is not good, then also it will affect the pedestrians. So quantitative pedestrian level of service based on flow characteristics is very similar to vehicular level of service. But walking as a mode of transportation is very different from vehicles. It involves users and their perception of their safety, comfort, etc. The amount of the way you are thinking about safety and comfort while moving in a car is not the same you are thinking about safety and comfort while you are moving on foot. When you are moving on cars, someone may not come from behind and snatch your watch or chain that you are wearing. But when you are moving on foot, there is a possibility that someone may come from behind and snatch the chain from your neck. So that kind of safety is you will be expecting when you are moving as a pedestrian. That is why quantitative pedestrian level of service developed using the vehicular level of service is unable to take into account the other aspects of pedestrian environment, and that is the drawback of the quantitative loss. Now, I will share one of the important scale in which the responses are collected while collecting the qualitative level of service, pedestrian level of service. And that scale is known as what? Likert type scale. It is given by the researcher Likert. So what is this scale known as? Many times you have found this kind of scales. Suppose you have purchased something in Flipkart or Amazon, and someone comes to deliver your product, and then you get such kind of forms to answer that strongly agree, neither agree nor agree, disagree, strongly disagree. The forms or the words mentioned may be quite different also. Some may say that rate this according to your perception, 1 2 3 4 5, 5 for very good, 1 for very bad. Okay, so likewise it may be different kind of parameters that you are using, but such kind of system is used in Likert type scale. So when you are taking the response from pedestrians, you can ask that whether you are feeling that the road is pedestrian facilities are safe for you as a pedestrian, whether you feel that the comfort that you are getting is quite good, then you can give such kind of scales to collect the responses. Moving forward, see, when I say highway capacity manual, the highway capacity manual that we follow is known as Indo-ACM, that is Indian Highway Capacity Manual. But the main highway capacity manual that Indo-ACM follows is the highway capacity manual that is being produced by United States. So that is published by Transportation Research Board of the US National Academy of Sciences. And that highway capacity manual is followed by different countries to produce their own highway capacity manual. See, based on the Landis method, users' perception influenced by it is said that it is influenced by the roadway and traffic characteristics. Okay, the perception of the road user. Okay, it is influenced by what? By two characteristics. One is the roadway characteristics and another one is the traffic characteristics. So what do we mean by roadway characteristics? That is the built walking environment, sidewalk design, infrastructure, physical components, etc. How is the quality of the footpath? How is the quality of the traffic signals? That is the infrastructure that is available, and that is the roadway characteristics. And what are the traffic characteristics? It is the flow of the pedestrian and vehicular traffic on the road. Because how many people are flowing? If there is a very rush of flow of pedestrian, that will affect that. You'll feel that it is not comfortable me being a pedestrian. And also the flow of vehicle. If there are a huge number of vehicles are flowing and there is no particular infrastructure to cross the road, you may feel uncomfortable as a pedestrian. So the perceived pedestrian level of service score is obtained by the two functions: function of built environment plus function of flow characteristic factor. Built environment means roadway characteristics plus another constant beta. What is this beta? This is the constant or other factors which you will take into consideration apart from the roadway and traffic characteristics. Moving forward, highway capacity manual is dividing the units of analysis into 4 different categories, okay, to calculate the pedestrian level of service. And these 4 categories are intersection, link, segment, and facility. Intersection is the smaller unit. Link is the bigger unit. From intersection to link is one link. Let's suppose, for example, Gorsuk may be one intersection. The area from Gorsuk to Lakhora may be one link. Segment is another, 2 or more links combined together to form one segment, and facility is a number of segments. These are the 4 formal units of analysis to get the pedestrian level of service. So the segment pedestrian level of service is given as the sum of link pedestrian level of service plus intersection pedestrian level of service plus roadway crossing difficulty factor. This gives the segment pedestrian level of service. So as I have said, that intersection pedestrian level of service plus link level of pedestrian level of service. Interlink is the smallest unit, then comes intersection is the smallest unit, then come link, then come segment. So to get the segment, you can add the link and intersection pedestrian level of service. Apart from this, you have to add the roadway crossing difficulty factor. Next, we will discuss briefly about the bicycle facilities. So the bicycle facilities that are provided on the road may be categorized into 4 categories. Okay, the first one is exclusive bicycle off-street path. That is, the road is totally designated for bicycles. That road will not be used by any cars or two-wheelers or anything. Two-wheeler means motorized two-wheelers. That road will be only used by bicyclists. That is known as exclusive bicycle off-street path. Okay, we rarely see, or we do not see any kind of such roads in India, I feel. I have not seen. There may be some in some corner of India, but I have never seen exclusive bicycle off-street path, or have never heard also. Next is shared off-street path. That means that road is shared by bicyclists and pedestrians, similar to exclusive bicycle off-street path, but this is shared, means shared by bicyclists and pedestrians. The third is very commonly seen in many parts. I have seen in many models, many places I have heard that these are there: bicycle lanes on street. That is designated bicycle lanes adjacent to roads for uninterrupted flow. Vehicles will flow, but there will be separate lanes for bicycles nearer to the road where vehicles will be flowing, and those lanes are known as cycle lanes or bicycle lanes, and bicyclists will run on that particular lanes. Similarly, there are footpaths for pedestrians, bicycle lanes for bicyclists. The fourth is the interrupted flow bicycle facilities. These are designated bicycle lanes adjacent to roads operating under fixed delays like traffic signals, stop signs, etc. So these are the designated bicycle lanes which are also affected by traffic signages. Okay. So next important point that I would like to discuss for today is the peak hourly volume. Okay. The peak hourly volume, it is the highest number of volume, traffic that is being generated in an hour of the day is the peak hourly volume, and we try to design the road for that peak hourly volume. So peak hourly volume is given as the product of 3 quantities. One is the annual average daily traffic. Next is the K peak hour factor. That is the proportion of vehicles traveling during the peak hour expressed as a decimal. How much proportion of the vehicle is actually flowing in the peak hour? A huge number of vehicle will be flowing. So what is that factor? That is calculated, and that is known as K. The next is the directional split factor, capital D. That is the proportion of vehicles traveling in a peak direction during the peak hour expressed as a decimal. So in the peak hour, the direction in which the vehicles are flowing in two directions, the direction, one of the directions, the vehicles will be more. Okay, if suppose you calculate in the what to say Azara area, you may find out that in the morning hour the number of vehicles flowing towards Guwahati, towards Jalukbari will be more compared to the vehicles coming from Jalukbari towards Azara. So that is why the directional split factor is calculated as the proportion of vehicles traveling in a peak direction during the peak hour expressed as a decimal. Why I have expressed this peak hourly volume? Because this plays a very important role in calculating any level of services or any kind of design factors, whether it be pedestrian or bicycle or vehicular level of service or vehicular parameters design. Okay. So with this, I would like to end the today's session, and I hope you have got some brief idea about the pedestrian facilities, bicycle facilities, pedestrian level of services. Okay, thank you and have a good day.